In week 3, we'll be discussing impulse of momentum and fields of force in relation to electricity and gravity. And I have a good background in momentum because of AP Physics, and I worked with impulse a little bit as we were talking about a difference of time. However, because that was the year that COVID hit and we went online, I don't really have the strongest foundation in it, so I'm definitely prepared to strengthen that. However, between the lecture that Dr. Fenton gave in week 2, just the single example of impulse was already enough to jump my memory and put me in a position where I think I could grow from that in order to learn impulse a lot better. However, I am very weak in electricity because of AP Physics 1 going online. We skipped that entire unit, and electricity in general has been something I've kind of avoided. So I'm more doubtful of myself and my abilities in that. However, I've already found videos on YouTube in preparation, specifically from Crash Course and my organic chemistry teacher, both of which I prefer over Khan Academy because I think that their videos are a little bit more interesting and a little bit more involving instead of just an example and doing it again. It'll actually explain the concept. For this unit, I think it's important to understand the concept, so I'm not gonna per se as practice as much to really just learning how I can apply what I'm learning in this unit to other units involved in this course. I am thinking that I will do a lot better in electronic fields and gravitational fields than I may think I do, only because I am experienced and comfortable with vector fields from taking Calculus 3 and linear algebra, and then just kind of generally understanding the idea of vectors very well. I think that the information from all of this will be completely applicable with one another, so it's not something I'm worried about. However, I like the idea of working with gravitational fields because it kind of makes me feel like a rocket scientist in comparison to NASA engineers who were working on gravitational rates from planets before my dad was even born. As far as that goes, electricity is something I should feel more comfortable with because with my major of biomedical engineering, I do want to work in the prosthetic field even though I'm on the pre-med track. And with prosthetics, understanding how electronics work in order to ease such technologies is important and vital for success. Similarly, with working with programming in this class, such as the lab of week 2, it's important that I kind of understand the concepts of that vector fields and electronic fields can kind of assist me with. One thing that was also mentioned in the week 2 informational videos of pre-lecture was the calculus that's involved. And with calculus, I am very confident. I consider calculus to be one of the math that I'm best at compared to linear algebra or differential equations. So I'm eager to kind of keep that going. Most of the times when I'm thinking about problems such as Hooke's law or potential energy, kinetic energy, I can think about it more in relation to the integral itself than just memorizing a formula. So I think having that background in order to bring together the integral to the concept is something that will help me as I go through this course. And especially when it comes to understanding the tangentials on a line and knowing if you're looking at a position and time graph, that tangential is going to be velocity. And when you're looking at a velocity and time graph, that tangential is going to be acceleration. And if you're looking at acceleration and time, that tangential is going to be jerk. So it's all the little things that add up, culminate, where instead of having to learn a whole new concept again, I can just take it from calculus, take what I know from that, and just spit it right into physics, which I think is going to be an advantage for me as the course gets a lot harder, as graphs get a little bit more complex, and I won't have as much time to really sit and conceptualize a problem compared to just knowing how it's going to work.